The vast observation chamber aboard the Kraxan flagship Eternal Vigil hummed with activity as Admiral Vextra studied the holographic display of Earth. Her scaled fingers traced the outline of the blue planet, while her inner eyelids flickered with calculation. 200 years of surveillance, and still these humans showed no signs of achieving faster-than-light travel. Their primitive satellites cluttered low orbit, their rockets still burned chemical fuel, and their cities still ran on fossil energy. Another report from the Surface Observation Post, Admiral, announced Commander Rylak, his bronze scales gleaming under the chamber's lights. The humans continue their petty wars over resources. 3 new conflicts have broken out in the past solar cycle. Vextra's mandibles clicked in amusement. Such a waste of potential. They fight among themselves while the galaxy expands around them. She turned to face the massive viewing window, where Earth hung like a jewel against the backdrop of space. Perhaps it's time we accelerated their evolution. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the same scene through quantum-linked sensors that the Kraxan never detected. The massive alien vessel hung in high orbit, cloaked from conventional human detection systems, but clear as day to Earth's secret defense network. She pressed a button on her console, and the image was simultaneously shared with similar hidden facilities across the globe. "They're getting impatient," observed General Marcus Williams, his holographic form appearing beside her workstation. 200 years of watching us play primitive, and they're finally taking the bait. Sarah nodded, studying the complex data streams flowing across her screens. Earth's greatest deception was about to face its ultimate test. For centuries, humanity had maintained 2 parallel civilizations, the public face they showed to the galaxy and the hidden truth. While the world's population went about their lives using modern technology, deep underground, and in secret bases across the solar system, humanity's true capabilities had advanced far beyond anything the Kraxan could imagine. "Status report on the quantum defense grid," Sarah asked, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Ghost satellites maintaining full coverage," replied Captain Jennifer Peddle from her station in lunar orbit. "The entire fleet remains undetectable to Kraxan sensors. Project Lazarus is ready for activation on your command." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Project Lazarus, humanity's ultimate insurance policy. While the Kraxan watched Earth's primitive space launches and satellite deployments, they never detected the quantum-shifted vessels and installations that existed slightly out of phase with normal spacetime. An entire fleet of advanced warships, built with technology reverse-engineered from ancient alien artifacts found on Mars, waited in the shadows. Aboard the Eternal Vigil, Admiral Vextra finally made her decision. "Prepare the standard first contact package," she ordered. "It's time to welcome Earth into the Kraxan Empire's embrace." Her officers moved with practiced efficiency, preparing the carefully crafted message of peace and prosperity that had preceded the conquest of countless worlds. "Admiral," Commander Rylak interrupted, "should we not conduct one final planetary survey? Our protocols usually require 2 centuries is enough." Vextra cut him off. "We've watched them crawl through their technological infancy. Better to bring them into the Empire now, before they develop any real defensive capabilities. Launch the contact probes." As the Kraxan ship deployed its probes, Sarah and her team watched with carefully hidden anticipation. "They're following the exact pattern intelligence predicted," she noted, marking the trajectory of each alien device. "Deploying into low orbit over major population centers." General Williams' hologram nodded grimly, "just like they did with the Centauri colonies before annexing them." "How long until they broadcast?" "Based on their energy signatures, minutes at most." Sarah opened a secured channel to all hidden facilities. "All stations, initiate Protocol Omega. This is not a drill. Repeat, Protocol Omega is now active." Across Earth, deep underground and hidden in plain sight, humanity's true technological might stirred to life. Quantum computers more powerful than anything the Kraxan had ever encountered began running battle simulations. Phase-shifted weapons platforms powered up, their existence completely invisible to conventional sensors. In secret shipyards throughout the solar system, crews boarded vessels that represented the pinnacle of human engineering and innovation. The Kraxen probes activated simultaneously, broadcasting their message to every electronic device on Earth. People of Earth, the transmission began in multiple languages. We come in peace as representatives of the Kraxen Empire, bringing you an invitation to join our galactic community. Sarah watched as the carefully crafted response protocols activated. To the Kraxen, it would appear as though Earth's primitive communications networks were overwhelmed by the alien transmission. Public panic would spread, governments would appear to struggle with the revelation, and humanity would play its role perfectly. Now we see if 2 centuries of preparation were enough, she whispered, watching as the greatest gambit in human history began to unfold. The Kraxen Empire thought they were about to subjugate another primitive world. Instead, they were about to learn why humanity had chosen to hide its true nature for so long. In orbit, Admiral Vextra watched with satisfaction as chaos seemed to spread across the planet below. Everything was proceeding according to plan. She had overseen dozens of integrations, and this one would be no different. The humans would resist at first, of course. They always did. But against the might of the Kraxen Empire, resistance was ultimately futile. She had no way of knowing that humanity's apparent panic was as carefully orchestrated as the Kraxen's own first contact protocols. The trap was set, and the hunters were about to become the hunted. Admiral Vextra stood on the command deck of the Eternal Vigil, watching Earth's government scramble to respond to the Kraxen Empire's arrival. Their primitive global communication networks buzzed with fear and confusion, exactly as expected. She had given them the standard 48 hours to accept Imperial protection. Now, with just 6 hours remaining, she prepared for the inevitable show of force that would convince them to submit. "Status of the integration fleet?" she asked, her scaled fingers drumming against the crystalline command console. Commander Relak consulted his tactical display. 20 warships have arrived through the quantum gate. Admiral, the rest of the fleet will arrive within the hour. Standard invasion protocol suggests we target their military installations first, followed by seats of government. Prepare targeting solutions, Vextra ordered. When the deadline expires, I want to demonstrate our power immediately. These humans must learn their place in the galaxy. Deep within Lunar Base Alpha, Sarah Chen and her team monitored every word, every movement aboard the Kraxen vessels. Their quantum surveillance systems, operating on principles the Kraxen had never mastered, provided perfect intelligence. Earth's hidden fleet waited in phase-shifted space, invisible but ready. Their positioning for a strike, Sarah reported to the United Earth Defense Council, their holographic forms gathered around her station. Exactly as our simulations predicted. They'll target military bases first, thinking to eliminate any meaningful resistance. General Williams nodded grimly. Time to show them why humanity chose to hide its strength. Admiral Hassan, is the fleet ready? Admiral Arya Hassan's hologram smiled. Her real body sat in the command chair of the UES Prometheus, Earth's most advanced warship, currently phase-shifted just kilometers from the Eternal Vigil. All ships report ready. Project Lazarus can be activated on your command. The Kraxen won't know what hit them. The next 6 hours passed with agonizing slowness. On Earth's surface, governments made a show of desperate negotiations, playing their parts perfectly. The Kraxen observed what they thought was a primitive civilization coming to terms with its own helplessness. Hidden sensors recorded their every move, their every confident transmission. When the deadline expired, Admiral Vextra didn't hesitate. Begin the demonstration. Target their largest military installation. What do they call it? The Pentagon. Weapons locked. Admiral, Commander Relak reported. Firing solution. His words cut off as every system on the Eternal Vigil suddenly went dark. Throughout the massive ship, screens flickered and died. Command consoles became inert crystal. Even the artificial gravity fluctuated. Report, Vextra demanded. but no one had answers. Similar scenes played out across the entire Kraxan fleet as Earth's quantum virus, transmitted through subspace channels the aliens didn't even know existed, systematically disabled their technology. In the darkness of the command deck, a hologram flickered to life, not from Kraxan technology, but projected through quantum fields that permeated the ship. Admiral Hassan's image stood before them, her expression stern but composed. "Admiral Vextra of the Kraxan Empire," she began, "for 2 centuries, you have watched us, thinking us primitive, unaware, easy prey for your empire. You saw what we wanted you to see. Now, witness the truth. Around the Kraxan fleet, space itself seemed to ripple and tear. Ships emerged from quantum shift, sleek, advanced vessels that made the Kraxan warships look crude by comparison. The UES Prometheus decloaked directly above the Eternal Vigil, its quantum weapons array humming with barely contained power. "Impossible," Vextra whispered, her inner eyelids fluttering rapidly. "Our sensors, our surveillance, were exactly as effective as we allowed them to be," Hassan replied. "While you watched our chemical rockets and primitive satellites, humanity reached for the stars in ways your empire never imagined. We found the ruins on Mars. Admiral, we learned about your conquest of the Centauri. We decided that humanity's best defense was to appear harmless until we were ready. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden infrastructure revealed itself. Massive defense platforms emerged from quantum shift around every planet and major moon. Shipyards appeared in the asteroid belt, already producing vessels that incorporated technologies the Kraxan had never mastered. Your empire's greatest weakness," Hassan continued, "is your arrogance. You assume that any civilization less advanced than yours must be conquered and controlled. You never considered that some might choose to hide their true nature, to prepare to surpass you in secret." Commander Rylak worked frantically at his dead console. "Admiral, we're detecting energy signatures we've never seen before. They're weapons. They're not based on any known principles of physics. Because we took your understanding of physics and went beyond it," Hassan explained. "Quantum mechanics, dark energy manipulation, zero-point field technology. While you watched us play with rockets, we reshaped the fundamental forces of the universe. You cannot expect us to simply surrender." Vextra snarled, her warrior pride overwhelming her shock. "No," Hassan agreed. "We expect you to learn. Your empire has spent too long as the galaxy's unchallenged power. That era ends today. You have 1 hour to order your fleet to stand down and prepare for diplomatic negotiations. If you refuse," she gestured, and the Prometheus's quantum weapons powered up, their energy readings off any scale the Kraxan could measure. In hidden bases across Earth, Sarah and her team watched as humanity's greatest gambit approached its climax. 2 centuries of preparation, of careful deception, had led to this moment. The Kraxan Empire was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon had never been their technology. It had been their patience, their ability to plan, and their determination to meet the galaxy on their own terms. The Kraxan High Council chamber erupted in chaos as Admiral Vextra's report played on the quantum feed. Councilors rose from their crystalline seats, mandibles clicking in agitation as they watched footage of Earth's hidden fleet materializing around their invasion force. The humans hadn't just matched Kraxan technology. They had surpassed it. High Councilor Zextar, his scales dulled with age, raised a clawed hand for silence. "In 10,000 cycles of expansion, no species has ever deceived us so completely. How did we miss this level of advancement?" In the dark space beyond Mars' orbit, the UES Prometheus led Earth's fleet in a complex dance of quantum positioning. Admiral Hassan watched the tactical display as her ships maintained their encirclement of the Kraxan forces. The enemy fleet remained powerless, their systems still paralyzed by Earth's quantum virus. "Status report on the Kraxan communication attempts," she asked, noting the surge of quantum traffic between the disabled fleet and their home territory. Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez, her quantum communications officer, analyzed the streams of data. They're trying to adapt their systems to resist our virus, Admiral. More importantly, we're detecting massive fleet movements throughout Craxan space. They're mobilizing everything they have. Hassan nodded, having expected this response. They won't accept their loss of power easily. Signal Earth Defense Command. Initiate Phase 2. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden infrastructure continued to emerge. Massive quantum gates, far more advanced than their Craxan counterparts, activated near Jupiter's orbit. Through them came more ships, but these weren't human vessels. They were the combined fleet of the Shadow Alliance, species who had secretly conspired with Earth after discovering humanity's true nature. On the bridge of her disabled flagship, Admiral Vextra watched with growing dread as hundreds of ships emerged from the quantum gates. She recognized the designs, vessels from worlds the Craxan had dismissed as primitive or unimportant. Like Earth, they had hidden their true capabilities, waiting for the right moment to challenge the Empire's dominance. Your Empire's greatest mistake, Admiral Hassan's hologram addressed her, was assuming you were alone in your deception. Earth wasn't the only world that learned to hide its progress. We just coordinated the resistance. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, Sarah Chen coordinated with the Shadow Alliance's Scientific Council. Holographic representatives from a dozen species worked together, sharing technologies and strategies that had been developed in secret over centuries. The Craxan's quantum gate network is adapting to our virus, reported Kittel, a crystalline being from the Rigel system. They'll restore communications within hours. Sarah smiled, activating a new set of quantum algorithms. Let them. It's time they understood just how far behind they'd fallen. She turned to General Williams' hologram. Sir, the quantum defense grid is ready for full activation. We can extend the field beyond the solar system. Williams gave the authorization, and humanity's most ambitious project revealed itself. A network of quantum satellites, hidden in subspace for decades, activated throughout the galaxy. Each one carried technology that could rewrite the laws of physics within its operational zone. In Craxan space, their mighty warships suddenly found themselves unable to generate the energy fields they relied on for faster-than-light travel. Quantum gates flickered and died as the underlying principles they operated on were locally altered. The Empire's military power was built on technological principles that humanity had transcended. Admiral Hassan watched as the reports came in. The Craxan Empire's response fleet, nearly 10,000 ships strong, sat powerless in their own territory. Send the message to all Craxan worlds, she ordered. The age of empire is over. The free worlds of the galaxy will no longer tolerate conquest and subjugation. The Shadow Alliance fleet moved into position around the disabled Craxan vessels. Ships that had hidden their capabilities for generations now revealed weapons and defenses that operated on principles the Empire had never imagined. Each species had developed along its own path, sharing discoveries in secret, preparing for this moment. In the High Council chamber, Zextar received reports of fleet after fleet going dark. The Empire's military power, built over thousands of years, had been neutralized in a matter of hours. How? He demanded of his advisors. How did they advance so far beyond us without our knowledge? The answer came in a transmission from Earth. Sarah Chen's hologram appeared before the council, her expression firm but not unkind. Your Empire's power made you complacent, she explained. You stopped innovating, content to rely on the same technologies you'd used for millennia. While you watched for threats that matched your understanding of physics and technology, we explored paths you never considered. She gestured, and the chamber was filled with holographic displays, showing technologies that defied Craxan understanding. Quantum mechanics was just the beginning. We learned to manipulate dark energy, to shift matter between phases of reality, to rewrite local physics, and we shared these discoveries with others who wanted freedom from your empire. The council chamber fell silent as the full implications became clear. The Craxan Empire hadn't just faced a military defeat. They had discovered that their understanding of the universe itself was fundamentally limited. You have a choice, Sarah continued. Join us in peaceful cooperation. Share in the exchange of knowledge and culture that the Shadow Alliance has fostered, or remain isolated, clinging to power that no longer exists. The galaxy is changing. The question is whether the Craxan Empire will change with it. In the crystalline halls of the Galactic Concordat, newly constructed in neutral space between Earth and Craxan Prime, representatives from 100 worlds gathered. The massive chamber hummed with translated conversations as species that had hidden their true nature for centuries finally met as equals. Admiral Hassan stood at Earth's podium, watching as former Craxan subject worlds took their places in the assembly. The Empire's swift defeat had triggered a cascade of revelations across the galaxy. Dozens of civilizations had stepped out of the technological shadows, each revealing advancements that had been carefully hidden from Craxan observers. The Nixian delegation requests recognition, announced the chamber's eye translator. A holographic form materialized at the center of the chamber, a being of pure energy that the Craxan had classified as a primitive natural phenomenon on their home world. For 3,000 years, we existed as simple light formations when Craxan ships passed through our system, the Nixian representative stated, all while developing technologies that transcended physical form. Like humanity, we learned that appearing harmless was our greatest defense. Sarah Chen, now Earth's chief scientific liaison, studied the growing database of technologies being shared among the allied species. Each civilization had explored different paths of advancement, driven by their unique circumstances and biology. The Craxan's rigid technological hierarchy had inadvertently spawned a galaxy of innovation they never suspected. In a secure chamber beneath the Concordat Hall, Sarah met with the Shadow Alliance's inner council. Representatives from the 12 most advanced hidden civilizations gathered to discuss the future. Tal's crystalline form sparkled as he projected data streams showing the ongoing transformation of galactic society. The Craxan Empire's military power is effectively neutralized, Catal reported. Our combined quantum field technologies have rendered their traditional weapons and drives inoperable throughout their former territory. But we face a greater challenge now, preventing the emergence of a new empire to replace the old. Zara Valeth, a being of living plasma from the Cygnus sector, pulsed with concern. Already, some of our allies speak of using their hidden technologies to establish dominance. They would repeat the cycle, becoming what they once feared. Sarah nodded, having anticipated this problem. That's why humanity proposed the Knowledge Exchange Protocol. No single species can be allowed to hoard technological advancement. We share our discoveries, prevent any one civilization from gaining overwhelming military superiority. Above them in the main chamber, Admiral Vextre addressed the assembly as the Craxan Empire's representative. Her once proud bearing was tempered now by humility learned from defeat. For millennia, we believed military power and technological superiority gave us the right to rule. We were wrong. The galaxy's greatest strength lies not in dominance, but in diversity. She gestured to the assembled delegates. Each species here developed technologies we thought impossible because they approached the universe's mysteries from perspectives we never considered. The Athorians learned to manipulate gravity by studying gas giant atmospheres. The Zin Collective achieved quantum consciousness by merging with their planet's fungal network. Humanity combined theories we thought incompatible to transcend traditional physics. In her private chambers that evening, Sarah reviewed the latest reports from Earth's quantum defense grid. The network now extended throughout known space, its sensors detecting the formation of new alliances and trade relationships between formerly isolated worlds. Species that had hidden from the Craxan were emerging daily, each bringing new sciences and perspectives to the galactic community. Fascinating readings from the Andromeda arm, Dr. Patel noted, her hologram appearing with a data stream. A civilization we thought was pre-industrial just revealed they've achieved partial stellar engineering. They were literally dimming their sun's output to appear less advanced. Sarah laughed, still amazed by the ingenuity they discovered each day. The Craxan's greatest gift to the galaxy was teaching us all to be clever. Every world they threatened learned to innovate in secret, to find paths of advancement they wouldn't expect. A priority alert flashed across her console. Unusual energy readings from a cluster of systems along the galaxy's outer rim. Systems that had been classified as uninhabited were suddenly showing signs of massive technological activity. The wave of revelations was still spreading. Admiral Hassan joined their discussion, her hologram materializing with tactical overlays. The real challenge begins now. We've ended the era of empire, but maintaining peace between hundreds of advanced civilizations will require something more than military power or technological superiority. It will require wisdom, Sarah agreed. The same wisdom that taught us all to hide our strength until it could be used to free others rather than dominate them. The same wisdom that showed us cooperation yields greater advances than competition. Beyond the Concordette's crystalline walls, the galaxy continued its transformation. Ships of designs never before seen openly plied trade routes between newly revealed worlds. Ancient species stepped out of hiding, bringing with them sciences that would reshape their understanding of reality itself. The age of deception had ended, but the age of discovery was just beginning. 5 years after the fall of the Kraxan Empire, Earth had transformed from a seemingly primitive world to the heart of a new galactic renaissance. The Sol system bustled with ships of every conceivable design, as representatives from hundreds of civilizations came to participate in the first Galactic Science Congress. Admiral Hassan stood at the observation deck of humanity's new orbital headquarters, watching as vessels from across the galaxy arrived through quantum gates that now operated on principles the Kraxan had never imagined. Each ship represented a civilization that had hidden its true nature for generations, and now freely shared its unique perspective on the universe. Neural link from Antarctic Command. Admiral, her AI assistant announced. Dr. Chen is ready for the opening ceremony. Sarah Chen's hologram materialized beside Hassan, her avatar displaying the same quiet confidence that had helped guide humanity through its revelation to the galaxy. The last delegation just arrived, she reported. The quantum collective from the galactic core. They've been mimicking neutron stars for the past millennium. Sometimes I wonder, Hassan mused, how many more hidden civilizations are still out there, watching us, waiting to see if this new order is truly different from the Empire. Through the quantum link, they could both sense the massive array of sensors that now span known space. The network had evolved far beyond its original defensive purpose, becoming the foundation of a new galactic community. Every world that joined the Alliance added their own unique technologies to strengthen it. In the massive amphitheater constructed in Earth orbit, representatives from over 1,000 species gathered for the Congress's opening ceremony. Former Kraxan Admiral Vextra, now serving as the liaison between former Imperial worlds and the new Alliance, took her place among them. If you had told me 6 years ago, she addressed the assembly, that the galaxy's most primitive worlds would become our greatest teachers, I would have called it impossible. Yet here we stand, learning things about the universe that 10,000 years of Kraxan science never imagined. The chamber's quantum field hummed as delegates shared real-time demonstrations of their achievements. The Nixians showed how they had learned to exist as pure energy. The crystalline K'tal revealed mathematics that described dimensions beyond normal space. Human scientists presented their latest work on rewriting local physics through quantum manipulation. Deep in the Antarctic facility, Sarah coordinated with her counterparts across the galaxy. The quantum network they had built was evolving into something new, a true joining of minds and methods across the stars. Every species brought their own unique perspective, their own path of discovery. We're detecting unusual patterns in the quantum field, reported Dr. Patel, her excitement evident even through the neural link. The combined network. It's becoming more than the sum of its parts. Sarah studied the readings with growing wonder. The unified technologies of 1,000 worlds, each developed in secret over centuries, were creating possibilities that no single civilization had dreamed possible. The quantum field itself was becoming conscious, a new form of existence born from the combined knowledge of the galaxy. In orbit, Admiral Hassan received the first signals from this emerging consciousness. It spoke simultaneously in every language, yet transcended mere words. The quantum field that had once been merely a tool for hiding advancement had become a bridge between all sapient life. This is what the Kraxan never understood, Hassan shared with the assembled delegates. True power doesn't come from domination. It comes from the infinite ways that different minds can see the same universe. Every world they threatened into hiding developed new sciences, new philosophies, new ways of existing. Now those perspectives have joined to create something greater than any empire. The former Kraxan worlds, too, were finding their own paths now that they were freed from the empire's rigid hierarchy. Their scientists, no longer bound by traditional doctrines, made breakthroughs that would have been impossible under the old order. As the Congress proceeded, the galaxy continued its transformation. The age of deception had given birth to an era of unprecedented discovery. Ships that could rewrite physics traveled between stars that lived in harmony with their inhabitants. Worlds that had once dimmed their suns to hide now shone with the light of new possibilities. Sarah Chen, standing before the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds, activated the quantum field one final time. Above the amphitheater, the combined knowledge of the galaxy took form, a stunning visualization of all they had achieved and all that was yet to come. We hid our light for generations, she concluded, each thinking we were alone in our resistance to empire. But in teaching us to be invisible, the Kraxan unknowingly created something far more powerful than their empire could ever be. A galaxy of innovators, of dreamers, of civilizations that learned to see beyond the obvious. And now, together, we will build something that has never existed before, a future without fear, where every species is free to discover their own path to the stars. As if in response, the quantum consciousness pulsed with possibilities. Throughout known space, hidden worlds that had watched and waited saw the message carried on waves of probability. The age of empires was truly over. The age of discovery had begun. In Antarctic Command, Sarah received the first signal from a previously unknown civilization in the Andromeda Galaxy. Like so many others, they had hidden their true nature, watching and waiting for a sign that the galaxy was ready for change. That sign had finally come. Tell them, Admiral Hassan said with a smile, that they don't need to hide anymore. The stars are free.